Evening, folks. Brian here at Geomagnetic Earthwatch, Friday, March 7, 2025. Yes, I'm wearing one of my shirts, therefore you know what kind of a talk this is going to be. I will ask one thing, though. When I do these type of videos, which may seem controversial to some, they are widely shared by well over 1,000 people, at least. I mean, there's over 29,000 people on Facebook here. And unfortunately, it brings out a lot of rude people. A lot. The only time I have to bounce people out or put a block on them is when I do these videos. So think twice before you decide on sharing this video. Think about the people in your own sphere, how they would respond to it. Anyway, let's get into it. This is a repeat video, but I am defining it. Refining it, pardon me. And I repeat, a dream that I had, one of several. It was around 13 years ago. I equate it to how old my daughter was back then, around three or four. And one of my dreams was the American tanks on the streets of my Canadian neighborhoods. Now, they weren't blasting away, blowing things up. It was simply a vision of the American tanks stationary on the streets of Canadian neighborhoods. So we are given only morsels of information from a few different sources. We are also being put on an IV drip of programming, predictive programming, to try and prepare us. On the other hand, there are certain people out there in YouTube land, I am convinced, are being encouraged, perhaps financially, to steer us away from certain things like the ongoing geomagnetic excursion, downplaying the excursion and its seriousness. But once again, I'm going to bring to you all the pieces of the puzzle. I'm going to try and bring them together to form a picture for us. And once again, about 4 months ago, this Mike from around the world did a video stating that the new equator would be around the Kentucky-Tennessee region. Subsequent to that video, and a repeat of that video, he also did state that the equator would change back and forth between there and the Great Lakes. I will explain and show you in a moment. He said that the equator would shift between Kentucky, Tennessee, and the Great Lakes. Now, coincidentally, don't give me any political comments about Trump and his ongoing threats of forcible annexation of Canada. That's not what this video is about. The latest twist from Trump to Trudeau, and also between a phone call between Canada's finance minister and the U.S. Commerce Secretary, I don't know if he's been voted in or not, Howard Lutnick, did state Trump wants to renegotiate the border between Canada and the United States, and Trump wants the Great Lakes, all 5 of them. Do you find that interesting? Do you know that the Great Lakes has 21% of the world's fresh water? Why would Trump want to redefine the borders to bring the Great Lakes down into the U.S. states? Now the world leader, oh, by the way, hey, listen, if you go back to my introduction video on my YouTube channel, this is all about the spiritual awakening, but I just simply bring all the sciencey stuff together to connect the dots into scripture. Biblical, science, all comes together very neatly. The world leaders know about the incoming celestial body systems. They've known for a while. But now, as the systems draw closer and closer, they can better refine their information, their data on the expected close pass-by and the effects it's going to have on our planet, including possibly tilting the planet and the impacts on our planet. So before I continue, I'm going to show you on Google Earth, as best as I can, what this Mike from around the world is talking about and why Trump wants what he wants. So once again, immediately after my last video, experimenting with tilting my globe on the equator, crossing through Tennessee, Kentucky, I saw some other things that immediately came to my attention about prophecy. Before I get into that, so I'm going to rotate the globe, assuming that the Earth will tilt down this way. So one moment. Now we're talking about a tilt. People will automatically assume that North America will tilt down this way. I don't think so. I think it's going to tilt down this way. So the equator, right here, would pass through Tennessee, Kentucky. That's the focal point. This also brings the Great Lakes further down towards the equator. Now, this Mike from around the world said that it would be going back and forth between Tennessee, Kentucky, and the Great Lakes. Mr. Trump is not just rhetoric and insulting my country. Put aside the politics. I don't need any comments about the rhetoric and politics. Mr. Trump's latest claim is he wants to renegotiate the borders between the United States and Canada. He has expressed an interest for acquiring more of the Great Lakes and rivers. I wonder why. Continuing, so I'm going to rotate the planet with a new equator starting off in Tennessee, Kentucky. And now once again, notice where Greenland's going to be. A more favorable position on our planet. Patience here, I got this a little bit off. So the equator the Earth continues to rotate. Offshore France, September 1846, La Salette, Marian apparition. And I believe the church approved that apparition in approximately 1850, 1851, which states that there will be a catastrophic earthquake and Marseille will slide into the ocean or sea. So Marseille is right here. Let's continue the rotation. Equator, where are we ending up? Back up. We are passing through Vesuvius, Etna. Casey's reading. Continuing. Santorini. So right now, before the axial tilt, the equator passes through Sumatra, Indonesia. Australia, the opposite side of North America, moves up. New Zealand. I understand one of the pole shift estimations is that the land will rise, creating a land bridge between New Zealand cutting through, I believe it was New Caledonia. New land bridge. And we're right back at Tennessee, Kentucky. The Great Lakes. Now we can try and bring it all together. Yet more importantly, recognize the biblical prophecy as the best source of bringing together the timeline, recognizing the timeline we're about to go into. Once again, when people start to wake up and they hear about Revelation and tribulation and all that, right? They go straight to the book of Revelation. They miss all the important parts before then. All the clues, all the signs. They miss it all. Also recognize that out of the destruction, the chaos, the loss, then he will arise, emerge to be seen as a person of saviorship, yet falsely so, because he will be the Antichrist. All these things must happen first before we get to the midpoint of tribulation. All these things happening first is not God's wrath upon the earth and upon the church, the people of the church. The people of the church are still going to be here. This is why Jesus forewarned us to all of his apostles. This is why he laid it out in Matthew and Mark and Luke. Now, if what I'm saying, or rather, if what Mike from around the world is saying, pause. Paul Begley, I do not give you my permission to use my material. Sorry. If what is being said is true and accurate, then Trump will not back down on his forceful efforts to seize and take at least part of Canada. He won't get it, though. Again, this is not political. I don't want to hear any political comments. Take it somewhere else, please. It's quite easy to put it all together. Everything else, it's all the distraction. Plain and simple. Doesn't matter what's going on in the world. And it's easy to lose sight of what Scripture is forewarning us of. And slowly, I'm going to be trolled. I'm being trolled by one person, John Harris. I believe he's from Victoria, Australia. He trolls my YouTube channels. He sent me an email. Completely denying everything I just said about the systems coming in and so on. Doesn't bother me not one bit. Another timeline from this Mike from around the world, who does listen to me and watch me, is the approximate 2-year timeline. The first of the beginning of 4 catastrophic events. I'm not sure if I believe that one. Complete loss of an entire continent, followed by the loss of a second continent. But I do believe about the shift of the equator. We shall see. We shall see by the actions of a certain leader and how far he's going to go. Watch the actions, not the rhetoric. Watch the actions of Canadians.